would all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the New Mexico Pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and see a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Next, our land acknowledgement, which was written by Leah Aki-Bakowitz and Alina Tweedy-Swazo, our vice chair. We recognize that Sandoval County is located on the ancestral land of indigenous people. We acknowledge and honor our land caretakers and commit to retain and advocate for the traditions and cultural knowledge indigenous people have practiced since time immemorial. Thank you. Good job. So, welcome to the Democratic Party of Sandoval County's second Saturday event. We're meeting in person at Fettucci's Moderno Italian restaurant at 1908 Wellspring Avenue in Rio Rancho. All Democrats are very welcome to attend. I want to thank all of you for attending in person. Please be sure to sign in. There are donation flyers on the table and other flyers of interest, some for the Women's Federation, Sandoval County Federation of Democratic Women. It's not just for women. We hope you will consider becoming a member if you are not already. There's a special menu, and our server, Kevin, is working hard on our behalf. Thank you, Kevin. Yay! Kevin and, what's your name?
Joseph.
Joseph. Kevin and Joseph. Yay, Joseph. All right. So let's see. I mentioned the special menu. Consider getting something to go. The food is fabulous here, and if you are so inclined, I happen to know that their gelato is outstanding. Just saying. It's one of my favorites. Please remember to tip our wait staff, and remember Fettucci's during the week for dine-in and to go. I have a special announcement before we get moving here. I would like to introduce you to our candidate for HD 57. Her name is Michelle Sandoval, and she's got 2 minutes to tell you a story.
Unfortunately, the GOP and the incumbent threw me for a loop, so they did file a complaint against my petitions, and so I've been up and down through that, but I'm so excited to say that my hearing was Tuesday and Wednesday. I went to court, and I represented myself, and I went forth against 2 of the GOP's lawyers, and I won. And the arguments I was able to make, it looks like even if they do choose to appeal, which they may, we're still not going to give up the fight. We're going to move forward and we're going to work. So I'm so excited to announce that to you guys, to let you guys know that I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be... I feel like they didn't give me a notice of hearing. They didn't let me know what it was. I feel like they were trying to do every which way to work to get me to not show up, to get me to just get thrown off. And I let them know that that's not what I'm going to be doing, and that's not what I'm going to be doing going forth. And one of the biggest things that it does show me is that the party is scared of me and my name and who I am, and because I was the only candidate that was sued that filed that day. So I'm super excited. I'm really excited that we won, and I don't think of it as a win for me. I think of it as a win for us. We won because we showed them that we're not going to stop fighting and that we deserve to have more representation in the House. And so I'm going to get started, get working hard. I do ask, I will bring everything forth. Like, I need the flyers, the donation, the site. Look out for all my information. The party's going to be pushing it out. And I so hope that I showed you guys I'm ready to fight for all of you and for all of us.
Yeah.
Isn't she something?
Yes.
She's amazing. I did not I still have work to do. So anyway, without further ado, I am so very excited to introduce our special guest speaker. She's a native New Mexican. She's the first woman land commissioner, the first Latina land commissioner. She's running for her second term. And I love to say running when I'm speaking about her because when she ran 4 years ago, she had the most gorgeous commercial. And it showed her running through the land of enchantment. And the scenery was outstanding, but it was really indicative of how hard she was going to work for us. How hard she worked to get elected, and how hard she was going to work for New Mexicans, and she did. So, without further ado, I want to give a big, proud Sandoval welcome to Land Commissioner Stephanie Garcia Richard.
Hi. Awesome. I am so sorry. I was actually late. I love to come to events early because that is truly the most impactful time. Judy Atley wanted to make sure that I wore my proud Ukrainian colors, and I couldn't get the package open and the pin on in time. So please tell her I at least tried. So I am Stephanie Garcia Richard. I represent you in the land office. I'm your land commissioner running for re-election. And here are the things I want you to take away from today's talk. Number one, record-breaking historic revenue for our beneficiaries. So when you hear things like free college, tax rebates, you might wonder where the money comes from. It comes from my office. And for the first time ever, 3 years ago, we raised $1 billion on behalf of public schools, universities, and hospitals, and then we just kept doing that. It seems as though we're going to hit $2 billion.
Yeah.
I'll explain a little bit about what the job is, but I need you to really grasp the importance of who your commissioner is. It matters. Who the president is matters, because now we have our first Black female.
Yeah.
And who your governor matters, because we actually came through this pandemic more unscathed than what the projections were. With a very poor state, we probably 10 times the number of mortalities that we actually had in the end, and that was because we had a leader at the forefront who followed science, who got us everything we needed, right? PPE, vaccines, and we were able to come through, and yes, we did have fatalities, but not what we would have had she not done the right thing. So it matters who your governor is. It also matters who your land commissioner is. So I want you to walk out of here, A, knowing who your land commissioner is, and B, being able to talk to other people about why it matters. So revenue is the number one thing. Revenue. Record-breaking historic revenue. The second thing is for those of you who honored me with your vote 4 years ago, you remember that I promised a lot of firsts, and there's a card that's circulating, and it's a very busy graphic, but man, we had to fit a bunch of firsts on that one card. And one of those firsts is the first ever comprehensive program to hold oil and gas accountable for your state land. This is your public land, okay? And this is to the tune of millions of dollars that we don't have to spend to clean up their messes. Hundreds of abandoned wells properly closed and plugged. And what that means, I don't know if you realize, it's not only actually active oil and gas that creates emissions. Sometimes it is those old wells. If they have not been properly plugged, we will get methane from them. So we need someone in your land office, we need someone as your commissioner who will put the axe to those oil and gas companies to say, you gotta clean up your mess, you gotta plug your wells properly, okay? So, first ever enforcement and accountability, holding oil and gas accountable, first ever $1 billion. And then the third thing I want you to know is that we have tripled the amount of renewable energy on your state land in just 3 years. No matter your view of oil and gas, if you love it or you hate it, it doesn't matter, because it won't be here forever. The $1 billion that I'm talking about right now, that's from a non-renewable resource. That's from a resource that actually pollutes our air and water. It's not going to be with us forever. And so we need another mechanism to raise that $1 billion for New Mexico. And so we are looking to diversify, and our best egg in that basket is renewable energy, because not only does it bring in hundreds of millions of dollars, but it does so in a clean, renewable, sustainable way. We're harnessing the lovely wind and solar. I mean, people come out of their homes in New Mexico every day and they're like, why aren't we taking advantage of this energy resource we have here? So we're doing that at the land office. For the first time ever, we have a brand new Office of Renewable Energy. We have tripled the amount of renewable energy on your state land. And if folks ask, like, what does that mean? Essentially, they were making around 400 megawatts on state land in the last however many years since they started doing that. And when we came in, we tripled that to 1,200 megawatts on your state land, okay? And then finally, protection of the resource. So you heard the land acknowledgement. We are the first commissioner to ever end future drilling in Chaco. That's 70,000 acres that while I am in office will be protected until we can have an actual permanent protection of that area. There's Senator Mckenna. My big love to Senator Mckenna. And acknowledgement that the land we manage and steward is actually indigenous land. So trying to repatriate that back to our Indian communities, our native communities. And I am happy to announce we have 2 exchanges that will be completed by the time I finish my first term. And we hope to do many, many more. We're limited by such things as like market trade, so we have to trade out parcels of equal market value. We're not giving anything away. We don't give anything away as the land office. But we have prioritized returning land to native communities, understanding that the land we manage is native land, is indigenous land. Okay? So that's what I want you to remember about Stephanie Garcia Richard when anyone asks you, when you're door knocking, when you're on especially social media. That's kind of the big picture. If you want to dig even deeper, there are the flyers that have more information on our first, like we ended the use of fresh water in fracking. Hundreds of millions of gallons. Like literally this is being used for that filthy, filthy process. And it doesn't need to be. This is a rare resource here in the state, and it needs to be protected. Okay? So I could go on and on. I'm not going to do that. I know that you all have a long agenda, but it is my absolute privilege to be with you today. I'll leave some of I've got these cards to contact me. So they've got the website and the campaign phone number, and then I do have remits as well. I got to tell y'all, all of those firsts paint a big old target on my back.
Yep.
And last time I ran, we were outspent by the oil and gas industry 10-1. I'm not making this. It sounds like an exaggeration. These are actual figures. So Chevron came in with a $2.5 million media buy for my opponent 4 years ago. And then he was able to raise the rest on his own, so it was about $3 million that was spent in my opponent's campaign. We raised $300,000, which is amazing for a land commissioner race, but doesn't even come close to the $3 million that was spent against me. Fortunately, voters did not listen to the negative TV ads that were blanketing the airways, but we are anticipating that again this year, y'all. So I need your help. I need your support in any way you can give it. The first thing I will ask you for always is your vote. The confidence and trust that you put in me 4 years ago, I'm asking for that again. Because with everything I've just mentioned, I'm just getting started, okay? I need another term to finish the work. So I need your vote. Any activism that y'all do, and I know Sandoval County, holy cow, you guys are just rocking and rolling down here, so I would appreciate my name being added to the bottom of that list. See, there I am. Last year, this was a t-shirt, and if you tucked in your t-shirt, you couldn't see my name. Half of it is a bag. So, door knocking, phone calling, dragging folks to polls, defending on social media, all the things that you all in this room do the best. I'm asking for your support with that as well. Thank you so much for having me at your second Saturday. These are just a great pleasure for me to attend, and hopefully next time, Madam Chair, I'll be a little bit earlier and I can actually network with people. I can take questions as well.
Yes, great. Any questions from the Land Commissioner? No? How much money did you raise for New Mexicans again?
Okay, so each year, $1 billion, so that's been 3 years, so how many is that? 3 billion. You gotta say ba. Because people are used to thinking in millions. This is not millions, no more.
Yeah.
It's just billions.
All right.
$3 billion.
All right. I saw something on the back of your flyer about Netflix. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's so much good news. Like, the flyer is jam-packed with good news. So essentially what we're trying to do is use the land, use your resource. It belongs to you. It's a public resource, okay? Use your land in more responsible ways. But we still have that mandate to make the money. We gotta make the money. We can't just give the land away. We gotta make money on it. So what we've tried to do is start to diversify the use of the land. So there's been 100 years of extraction on that land. What we are trying to do is move away from that heavy reliance on extraction to more sustainable uses of the land. I talked about renewable energy. Another big push for us is using it for essentially business development. So there's a large piece of land that you all may know southwest of Albuquerque, known as southeast of Albuquerque, known as Mesa del Sol.
Yes.
It's a large development of state land. Some of it has been purchased by a private developer, but on the state land portion, we just signed a deal with the city of Albuquerque to lease that land for the brand new Netflix studio. And you can imagine that that's going to bring in, that's real money. It's not the $1 billion in oil and gas, but it is real money, and it's a great use of that land because we are trying to encourage that industry in the state. So the brand new Netflix studio will be on your land. Congratulations to you.
I have a question. Do you have any plans for any state land projects in Sandoval County?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of projects in Sandoval County right now, mostly over here on the west. We have actually a land sale that's being contemplated right near Sioux Cleveland High School. So you all know that Sioux Cleveland High School actually used to be state land that was swapped out and is now belongs to the school district. But right across the street from there is a huge parcel of undeveloped state land. There is a very high need for any of you who live in that area. There's a high need for retail in that area. So we are looking at developing, it's going to be a grocery store of some sorts.
Trader Joe's.
So that is one project we're doing. We're doing some golden open space projects where we're trying to develop the area, right. So for those of you who know that area, outdoor recreation is another kind of direction that we're going in to open up and showcase your state land for recreation, camping, biking, hiking, all of those things. So those are two big Sandoval County projects that we're working on. Yes, ma'am.
Because you brought it up, it's probably a question from Senator Mckenna, but is free college education really free? Is it open to everybody?
So, from what I've seen about it, they are trying to target, it covers all of our public universities. universities and colleges, so all of the community colleges, branch colleges, and then the majors. But I believe that they're trying to target certain disciplines, is my understanding. And yes, Senator Mckenna is probably the expert on that, so I'm going to have her.
Yeah. Thank you, Stellar Land Commissioner. So, what I call that bill, can you share it?
And you're going to have to come up here because they're filming us.
Yeah.
Say cheese!
Yes, so what I recollect of that bill is for 2- and 4-year colleges. And they're really going after folks who didn't complete their college degree, but want to go back and get that done. So I think part of your question, is it open to everybody? Yeah, so veterans, even folks who are rather new to the state, there's a little bit of time they have to establish residency, but it's open to them as well.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
What was that program?
Okay, so the question was, what was the question? Senator Mckenna was answering a question around the eligibility of free college. So, Bernie actually just tweeted about this. New Mexico is the first state ever in the union to offer free college tuition for its students. And it is for all of our public universities, 2- and 4-year programs. And there was some detail that the senator just gave about who it's open to. Yes, ma'am.
From what I remember the governor saying, one of the focuses of this particular bill is because the other help with college, you have to be right out of high school. Now, somebody my age could apply for the grant and see about getting it. It's not age restricted, so
That's correct.
a lot of people have, would like to go back to school once their kids are old enough. Now they're eligible.
Thank you. All right, any other questions for the land commissioner?
Well, thank you all for having me. I hope to have your support. I don't have a primary opponent, but I do have a general election opponent. And it actually doesn't matter whose name and face is on the ballot, because oil and gas is my opponent, okay?
Yeah.
So, if you don't want oil and gas to run the public lands in New Mexico, please make sure you work, not just vote, donate, volunteer, phone bank, canvas, talk to your friends and family, get it out, get the word out about our wonderful land commissioner. And I just want you to know I have one of these t-shirts and I never, ever tuck it in. So, Sandoval County loves our land commissioner. Next up, thank you very much.
I have another event.
You have another event. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you being here, and drive safely. You're precious to us. Thank you. Let's give her one more hand. So, we're full of celebrities today. Where did he go? I just saw him a minute ago. Josh? He had to leave. Oh, there he is. Josh, you know what? So you get to talk. It's a big day for you, isn't it?
It is. Well, thank you so much. I was actually on my way out. So I'm actually hosting a campus event as we speak. So I wanted to make sure that I popped in and said hello. I know Senator Brenda Mckenna, she's going to do some canvassing for me, and she needs some lit. But while I have the opportunity, right now we're in the runoff, right, with the incumbent here in District 3. And we're looking really good. So the numbers that came out, the numbers that we have right now, we have about 286 Dems, about 254 Republicans, and about 89 DTS, right? But I don't want to, get too excited about those numbers because we still have to get out and we still have to vote, right? And this this race could really come down to a handful of votes. So we need everybody that lives within District 3 to get out to the polls, because we just had the opportunity to go out and do some canvassing, and Greg was there with me. There are people that do not realize that there is a runoff happening right now, and we really have to reach those people. So as far as the fundraising, we're good on that. The only thing that we need right now is, if you have time, if you can go out and canvass, and if you cannot do that, I would love if you could hop on the phones, make a few phone calls to our fellow Democrats and let them know that there's an election still happening. And like I said, every vote is really going to count right now. I just went and voted myself, my son. I got him registered to vote. So, and if there's anybody that you know that just turned 18, today is the last day that they can go and do same-day registration and vote today. So if you know anybody in that category, please get them signed up, get them registered, and have them vote today. But other than that, Greg has some of my cards. So if you need to contact me, if you need a call list, if you need a walk list, please get with Greg. He'll give you my number. And I would really appreciate the support. We're sprinting to the end. I'm going to be canvassing every day. I've been canvassing every day. And I'm going to even be canvassing on the day of the election until 7 o'clock. So let's win this race. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Tell me, when was the last time you heard a candidate say, we're good on money? When was the last time you heard that? Get out, get up, help Josh. Phone bank, canvass, vote, talk to your neighbors. It's really, really important. Next up, Ramon Montaño couldn't meet with us today. Unfortunately, he suffered a loss in his, he lost his campaign manager this past week. So please keep Ramon in your heart and consider reaching out and helping him in the future. He's going to need it. He is running for HD 23. Kathleen Cates just took a bite of food, so I think I'm going to call on her. So Kathleen Cates is a candidate for HD 44, and she's going to tell you about her campaign, and I bet she mentions this.
No, that's all right. You can't see the salad in my teeth that far away, and so thank you. Thank you, Alice. Hi, I'm Kathleen Cates. I'm running for the State House of Representatives, District 44. This Thursday, we're going to have a fundraiser meet and greet at the Pasando Tiempo Winery in Corrales, which is right off of Loma Largo at 277 Dandelion Lane. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about in my campaign. But I wanted to take this time period and talk about what I think we really need in this district. We need your voice. On social media, at the grocery store, at Bridge Club, we need your voice. The Republican mayor is taking credit for the grocery store. Other candidates are taking credit for the new, the new school that's opening up for our public school. Rio Rancho Public Schools is offering a trade school right now. Zero mention of all the input from the unions. We need your voice to speak up and say, wow, the governor got us through the pandemic. And we need your voice. I know that it's, we need to be able to tell people where our credit and what our successes have and how we have achieved them. We're raised politely, and we cannot be polite anymore. We need to raise our voices. So please, I wanted to spend this time. Come to my fundraiser, vote for me, please. But I really want to be able to go out and be able to talk about the great work that our Senator Brenda has provided, our governor has done, our president. Do you know he didn't go to the border to visit war-torn immigrants and people who are upset that they're not going to our border. He went there to prevent nuclear catastrophe. And you know what? he is doing everything he can before we may have to enter into this war. And we have to stop being silent about it. So please go out there and be mouthy. Thank you.
Excellent. Kathleen Cates, her fundraiser at Pasando Tiempo on April 14th from between 4 and 6:30 p.m. My dad and I will be there. We're gonna have some wine, talk to some people, eat a little food, stuff. All right, so come on out. And did you notice Kathleen didn't say that she doesn't need money? Just saying. Next up, I had Michelle Sandoval, but she already gave you her great news. I want to tell you again, we as the party are so proud of her defending herself and prevailing. And she had the right amount of signatures, and we're going to really get behind this young lady. She's amazing. Next up is somebody who comes from the northwest part of our county, right? He lives out in Cuba, and he is our current Sandoval County Commissioner, and he's running for magistrate judge, Mr. Ken Eiffel.
Good morning. I am Ken Eiffel, and I am humbly asking for your vote for Magistrate Judge, Division 2, on June 7th. I do have a primary opponent, okay? And so, one thing I'm going to tell you about myself is that I'm a hard worker. If you've noticed me on the commission, I'm the one that's always talking, defending the Democrat values that we have, along with Commissioner Brock. But, it's kind of difficult for me because when I was magistrate before, which I did that for 24 years, and then I ran for commissioner, I was always having to kind of differentiate between the two jobs. Well, I'm kind of back at that level again, where I'm trying to differentiate between the commissioner and the magistrate. Well, one thing about a judge, especially magistrates, they have to follow the law. The other thing that is very important about a magistrate is that they listen. You just don't, you have the people coming into your court. Magistrate court is the people's court. So anybody without a degree or a law degree can come in there and argue their case, speeding tickets, civil cases, DWIs. I handled well over 1,000 DWI cases in the 24 years that I was there, and I'm prepared to do it again. So it's very difficult for somebody to come in and say, well, I'm going to listen. Well, I've done that. I've done that for 24 years, and I've also done it at the commission level. So, lastly, I want to introduce two people that are very important in my life. My wife, who is sitting over there, she helps me with all my campaign. And my son, who is there, he just got back from Florida. The one thing I'm going to tell you about my son is that he's a wildland firefighter for the U.S. Forest. He works all the time. So I really wanted to kind of mention them because they're always behind me. Again, I do need your help on June 7th. Vote for Ken Eichwald, Division 2, Magistrate Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I was trying to eat on the slide, not so sly. One of my favorite things about Commissioner Eichwald recently, in recent history, was at a county commission meeting. Another county commissioner, I'm going to gossip, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Another county commissioner said in response to the redistricting, I predict we're going to have a Native American candidate at the next election, our first Native American candidate at the next election. And Commissioner Eichwald said, excuse me, but you had a Native American candidate at the last county commission election, and she was your opponent. So it was fabulous. Probably one of the best comebacks I've seen at the county commission another one of our beloved Sandoval County Commissioners, Kathy Brook. And I bet she's going to tell you about an event also.
Always. And events are so much fun. And this one's going to be incredibly important to me because I'm doing it with our Secretary of the State, Maggie Toulouse-Howell. And do you know that nationwide our voting rights are under attack?
Yeah.
And we have seen it in our county commission over this last couple of meetings. And it's tragic to have to experience that and sit through some of what I consider just a travesty. And it's amazing to witness people who are so ill-informed and don't even want to hear the truth of the matter. Our clerk and deputy have done a great job of inviting people to come in and evaluate what happens in our election process, and they've done a really good job with that. I have to tell you a little story. Internally, there was a member of our administrative staff who actually asked these commissioners who are proposing these things to the public, come in, tell us what your problem is, and we're right behind you. This particular administrator actually asked, what's your objective? Why are you wanting to do this? And I'm thinking, a voice of reason. Thank goodness we have those kind of people who are standing up across the board. So I hope you'll come out tomorrow to the Placitas Winery. If you haven't heard about this event, it should be a lot of fun. We are going to have some food, and Maggie will be our guest. Brenda will be there with us, and we'll have a good time for a couple of hours. Your money is always welcome. Your vote is more important, but we'll be happy to see you from 2 to 4. Thank you.
2 to 4 tomorrow, Placitas Winery. So I see a theme here. I think we should continue along with this winery theme. It's working for us. My dad has this map of all the wineries in the state, and we have it out on my buffet, and we have a Sharpie next to it, and we're just checking them off. Our goal, of course, is to visit all of them, right? So thank you for helping us do that. Next up, a new friend, right? A new friend, and we're going to be longtime friends, is Greg Bennett. Greg Bennett is running for Sandoval County Commission District 3.
Thank you very much. I am Greg Bennett, and I am running for Sandoval County Commissioner District 3.
Louder and
Louder and back.
Yeah.
Again.
That's good.
I just can't do that, do I?
Yes, you can.
I know I can. Anyway, two things that I really wanted to talk to you about today, and that is, one is thank you. Thank you for supporting me for this last 6 weeks or so. And those people, like Alex and Chris, have done an awful lot of work, so thank you very much for that. Helping a young kid, an older young kid, get his feet into this whole thing. So thank you very much for that. The second thing is I'm out campaigning with Josh, and things happen out there, and you start talking to people, and you realize that there's Democrats that are sitting home. We have to energize our base. We have to energize the people out there that are Democrats, that we know will vote for us. In fact, there are people that are, the first thing they ask when we come up to the door was, are you a Democrat or a Republican? And we said, well, we're a Democrat. Okay, come on, let's go talk.
Yeah.
And we sit there, we talk to them, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we kind of do this. Now, is there an election pretty soon? And of course, I'm saying my election is in November, so I'll be back through and see you a couple more times. But Josh is going like, yeah, like on Tuesday. Really? Where? Where can we go to vote? Well, where can we vote? Right down in Enchanted Hills. Are they open right now? Yes. So I don't know. I know the people in here are very well versed on what's going on and where to vote and all the rest of that. But there's a lot of people that are just sitting out there waiting to be told what to do and where to go. Not in a bad way, but in a very positive way. So we have to get out of the base. We have to get there. We have to do that. That was my second thing. The last thing I'm going to talk about, one more thing, is over here. Almost forgot yet again. Are my sign-up sheets. I'm going to be canvassing next week. If you're available, I will take your contribution of time to come out and walk with me, okay? I also have, and I'm not one of those people that have so much money that I'm flush with it. I'll take whatever you got in your pockets, okay? I'll take whatever change you have. I'll take your shoelaces so I can get them off. You'll take those to the Goodwill store and get money for them. So please, give them to your heart goes silent. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. So keep an eye out for housewarming and fundraisers for Greg. They'll be coming up. And I don't think Rio Rancho has a winery. Maybe we need to talk to the land commissioner about that. Yeah. All right. Next up is Senator Brenda Mckenna. She wants to talk to you about some of the accomplishments that we've seen in New Mexico, and I believe specifically from our wonderful governor. I remember the governor being on TV during the pandemic, keeping us all safe, and saying that she knew what was happening out in the communities, but it was her job to make the hard decisions, so she was going to make them. So we need to work hard for our governor also. So Senator Mckenna, there you go.
Thank you, Alex. Wonderful to see you all. I asked Alex for just a couple of minutes because the last time I spoke to you, I was telling you how we were going to get ready to have a special session, and it was great. It was just one day. We got it done, and you know why we got it done? Because we had two wonderful working groups. One was headed by Senator Munoz, and the other was headed by Senator Gonzalez. And they each had members, Senate members in their work groups, and then those two groups in turn worked with the governor's staff. And it's my understanding it went really well. I brought some sheets, some summary sheets. What happened? The great thing is the governor signed both of those bills with no eye-line vetoes. So, yeah, they did their homework, and none of my junior bill items were vetoed. We just had to do a little bit of an adjustment, which state agency was going to get my allocation. I just want to mention a couple of things about House Bill 2, which is the household relief bill. So there was some talk about, well, we're going to do an income cap. The work groups and the governor's office decided no income cap. So New Mexicans will get, let's see, you're going to get two $250 payments for individuals and two $500 payments for joint filers. Also, there's been a question about how about folks who do not file? They too are eligible, however, there's a $20 million set aside for them. And once that money is accounted for, that's it. So it's first come, first served basis. And I will pass out any more of these filers if anybody's interested. But at bottom line, it was a good short session. The reason why we got there is because of the two task force groups and the governor's office. They worked very well together. So way to go, MLG and Senate and House leaders.
Thank you so much. Yes, that's our legislature and our governor working hard for us, right? And they got it done quickly. So proud. So what are you guys going to do with that $250 you're getting in June and in October?
Campaign contributions.
Yeah, we could use it. I'm going to spill some tea for you in a little bit. First, I'm going to let Karen Schaefer talk to you, though. And then I have, you know how I like to share a little news? My grandmother called gossip news. Okay? So I have some news to share. Okay, so yeah, I know, it's big. It's big. Karen Schaefer, come talk to us.
Okay, so what I want to say is a brief word about our Sustaining Donor Program. And thank you, Greg Bennett, our newest Sustaining Donor. And let me tell you, so many people in this room are already sustaining donors. And I don't think most of you know what a difference it has made in meeting our monthly expenses for the county party, truly. We had a goal when we started a little over a year ago, and we're just about 10 people are meeting that goal. So I know you're tired of hearing about it, but if you are not a sustaining member and you're willing to give up a monthly contribution, we would love to have it. And there's a little paper on your table that tell you how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. One more thing. The Sandoval County Federation of Democratic Women is having their meeting on the 23rd of April. It is virtual, I believe. Yes? No, it's in person. It's in person. Where is it, Jay?
It's going to be at
The Bernalillo Library.
The Bernalillo Library.
10 to noon.
10 to noon. On the 23rd. Go to the website. It's there. The events page, sandovaldemocrats.org, and then click on the events link. So, now's the time for some news. Do you guys remember when we were so upset and angry about the commission's redistricting? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Are you still mad?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you thought we forgot about it. No, we're like a pit bull with a pork chop, right? He's not a pit bull. Beautiful, beautiful dog. But I wouldn't take a pork chop from him. Anyway, since it first started in November, we reached out to an attorney and got some advice from him. And we have been working on getting people, groups involved with the lawsuit. So we are going to be filing a lawsuit against the Sandoval County Commission, sorry, commissioners. Actually, they're parties to the lawsuit also, as is the Democratic Party. Keep your eyes peeled. The complaint will be filed soon. We have 3 pueblos currently involved. The All Pueblo Council of Governors has supported this unanimously, and we are moving forward. So keep an eye out. But we do need to raise money for expenses, and so that was not a joke about your rebate. Consider sharing it with us. We will put it to great use, I swear. And keep your eyes peeled. You'll be hearing more and more about this as things progress. So again, please visit our website's event section and sign up for our newsletter. Let's see, the newsletter includes a message from me. It will focus on the lawsuit this month. You'll learn what our elected officials are doing. You'll read about efforts of local progressive organizations, democratic organizations, peruse opinions and fact checks, and discover volunteer opportunities. We still have some candidates here who would happily take your volunteering to heart. We'd love it if you would volunteer for them. And that's all I have for today. So we're so happy and grateful for the meeting place and staff. Please don't forget to tip Kevin, and Joseph, right? And thank you to the 2 chiefs.